All right, we've reached the last phase of headlocks and the most dangerous one. Once a person gets you in a headlock and you hit the ground, it doesn't take a genius to figure out this is difficult to get out of. I'm carrying his body weight and I'm being sandwiched against the floor. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu has the best headlock defenses I've ever come across. That's why I brought Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu to Canada for the first time in the early 90s. It was simply a superior self-defense system to anything else I'd done. The problem is today, most people only train headlocks in a passive kind of, let's kind of remember what the moves are. In the street, on a hard surface, when someone's dragging your head against the pavement, it's a little different. We need to look at the details that actually work and what's really going to happen. So once again, we're going to look at the sliding scale. Early, on time, late. As you hit the ground, there's an opportunity to defend yourself. Sometimes the guy's grip gets a little weak. For the same reason, let's assume that for some reason the headlock starts on the ground. You were knocked down in a scuffle or you've fallen over from a clinch, you hit the ground, and now the guy is going to headlock you. Let's look at how to defend ourselves early. One of the best ways to do this is the old-fashioned frame. It can prevent him from getting his hands together if they're not locked up yet. That, to me, is the best way to use that frame defense. Let's take a look at what I'm talking about. The guy goes to get the headlock, I frame him. Get your hands together. Lock him up. You see how proper framing can prevent that? If you hit this early enough, you're now have a much easier time of getting out. Now what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to snake movement behind him. Instead of the conventional snake movement where I make space this way, I can do that, but it's probably easier to snake out behind him. Now I've got my positional advantage. All right? That's early defense on the ground. Before I go any farther though, I want to talk about proper defensive position. This is one of these things that's glossed over in most classes and they don't realize how difficult it can be to get on your side. Number one, everybody understands, or they should if they've had a little training, and for people that haven't, we want to understand that if I'm on my back and he's got the headlock, the flatter I am, the more weight I'm carrying. You can hear the change in my voice because the pressure he's now putting on my chest. It's difficult to move, difficult to breathe, and I can't move properly. I'm like a turtle caught on my back here. So all technical defenses begin with the idea that I have to get on my side. This takes the pressure off me. You can hear I can breathe better and I can move around. The problem is, in a real fight, and a guy who outweighs you by 60, 80, 100 pounds, it ain't that easy to get on your side, and it isn't that easy to stay on your side. That's the problem. So the first thing I want to show you are methodologies that I've used in real street encounters in order to make these standard techniques work. I had to pay special attention to making sure I was able to stay in a strong defensive position. Let's go to those. All right, let's look at some real-world ground headlocks now after you've been taken to the ground. I'm going to show you what I call the heavy pressure techniques. When you've got a real opponent who's much heavier than you, you're on a hard surface, and you have to get out of these headlocks for real, not just walk through it in a self-defense class the way it's taught most often. Let's look at the concept here. The guy's got me in the headlock. I'm on the ground. If I'm on my back, this is the worst scenario because I'm directly being sandwiched between his body weight and the ground. So most people who understand headlock defense understand the idea that you have to be on the side, on your side. So in class, you lay on your side and you escape and the guy doesn't do anything. Wish it worked that way in the real world. First of all, obviously, the closer his hips get to me, the more body weight he's going to be able to put on me. This isn't always intuitively understood, but if his butt's way out over here, he doesn't have as much weight on me. Okay, so where his hips are dictates where his whole body is. That's why we're always referencing where the hips are in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So if I'm trying to struggle to get onto my side and my arms are out of position, even if I get on my side, he can drive into me fairly easily and he's going to drive me back. Okay? And this happens all the time. In the middle of a fight, the guy, if he feels you escaping, he's going to do his best to drive you over. So we have to find ways to prevent that. Let's look at the classic position. I want to put my bottom hand against his hip. This is standard Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu positioning for any across side, top side fences. I want to keep his hips away. So as he pushes into me, this can help a lot, all right? But it certainly isn't everything. Again, I get two guys the same weight here. He's not trying to kill me. It looks like this hand alone is going to keep enough space between us and keep me on my side. If I got Magilla Gorilla here at 320 pounds, this may not be enough, and I need to know ahead of time how I can increase my leverage. Okay? The next phase is my outside leg. So as he drives into me, make sure you post with this pretty far. If you're about to escape and this is working for you, it's fine. All right? But a lot of the time, this isn't enough. So again, bring your hips in tight, make yourself heavy. Man, this can be a pain. What I need to do is angle my hips inward. When I'm on my side like this, my shoulders and hips are probably out like this, about 45 degrees. It doesn't take a lot of pressure to drive me back this way. So I need to try to get sideways as much as I can. Better yet, I want to put this leg over top. You see how this turns my hips now at more than 90 degrees? This is going to make it difficult for him to drive me. Also, I can post on this foot. I've got this one behind me, and I can even put my knee against him sometimes. This is essential to be able to keep yourself on your side. This is my heavy pressure release position. So he gets me in the headlock. I'm here. Yeah, you can also push on the head, don't forget. That's pretty standard stuff. But again, if he's really, really heavy, it may not be enough. So I'm going to snake away, and most of the time he drives into me. I snake away, he drives into me. It's really difficult in the real world with a really resisting, heavy person. So I need a way to stop him from driving back into me so that it gives me enough time to execute my defense. So instead of just snaking away and getting tired, or trying to speed up my technique, have it fail, have to start over again, be even more tired, I want to slow him down. So as I snake away, I scissor my legs and I drive my knee in his back. Okay, now this isn't necessarily going to hurt him, but I'm in a lot stronger position. I can take my arms away. Now drive on me. I'm not going back with my back. It's heavy. Now sit up and put your butt really close to me. Okay, I'm going to take this away from a prop just so we can get closer. I'm not going to use my arms drive on me. Okay, it's really difficult to get me flat again once my hips are like this. If I do this, now drive on me. Okay, it's easy for that to happen. So that's the first thing about heavy pressure. Try to go like this. And if you can, get your knee in there. Now it's actually an irritant to the guy. He starts driving in on you. He's going to be driving against your own knee. From here, you can do your classic escapes, all right?